Greetings and welcome to Calm, Clear Communications, Calm, Clear Conversations. I'm Christopher Johnson, CEO and founder of Calm, Clear Communications. And with me today is Future Cain. She is the CEO and founder of Future of Cell. And, I could be biased. She's a great person. I could be biased. I am not biased. She's a great person. Welcome, Future.
Woo! Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever anybody's joining in from now, because we're all in different time zones. How are you today?
I am doing great. And we are all across different time zones, whether you are watching live or on replay.
Right.
Let us know where you're watching and whether, if it's replay, hey, team replay. If it's live, that's fine. Team live. Future. We've been connected for a little bit. So, all right, looking back at that graphic photo or the image that I had to put up for this, just a refresher. So this is the image.
Okay.
You are 6'5".
I'm not 6'5". I'm switching around. You have the numbers right. Switch it. 5,
I don't know.
6.
You're a little bit taller than I am. And see, that is one of the many reasons, that laugh that you heard, that is such an engaging attribute of you.
Thank you. Thank you. We have to laugh, right? I keep telling people, fill your bucket up with joy. Fill your bucket up with joy. What are you doing? We should be laughing. We should be laughing more.
Absolutely. And hey, we have some folk watching live. And all right. Dan? Dan, I thought we were friends.
He might be a little biased too.
And that's fine. Yeah. All right. You have been on a variety of live platforms, such as LinkedIn Live or LinkedIn Live Audio, and you are engaging across the board. So, all right. I introduced you as the CEO of Future of Cell. What is Future of Cell?
That's a great question. I think it's important for me to tell people the why. Everybody's why in doing anything you're doing is super important. And oftentimes people are like, oh, I didn't even know you had a business, because I'm constantly posting and I don't often even mention Future of SEL. So the Future of SEL was birthed out of my own personal lived experiences. And my personal lived experiences with going into different workplaces that weren't centering leaders who were socially, emotionally intelligent, who weren't centering workplace wellness for all employees, who weren't centering equity mindset throughout all decisions that were being made. So when 2020 happened and Arbery, which was the tipping point for me, not George Floyd, that was just adding on icing on the already cake that was destroyed of livelihood for me. I then kept getting people reaching out. Could you come in and talk about this? Could you come in and talk about this? Because of my years of experience in leadership, my years of experience in education, my years of experience with social emotional intelligence and equity and wellness. So I said yes. And then more people kept asking, could you consult? Can you do this? And eventually I said, I just need to create a system, because I had been creating systems for decades in education. So I said, that's what I'm going to do. And I'm going to help organizations, because this is the future of work. The future of work is centering people who are socially, emotionally intelligent and can see the human and understand the humanness in all people. It is workplaces for retention, for productivity, for innovation, people who want to stay at jobs where they feel psychologically safe and safe that they could be creative and innovative because the spaces see them as more than just a product. And it's also a space for equity for all, as we hear people loudly screaming for the past 2.5 years. So that is the center. And I do that through different forms, whether it's speaking, international speaking I've done, whether that's through creating co-facilitation or facilitation, or workshops and seminars, coaching, consulting.
Wow, you're busy.
Yes, I'm busy. I'm busy.
Now, see, and all right, uh, this comment from Jude. Yeah, we should
Mhm.
all be laughing more,
We should.
and you know, you model that, and I appreciate that. Now, as a leader,
Mhm.
all right, how do we model? How do we set up that we lead a group of humans that
Mm.
we can, other people can bring their whole humanity
Yeah.
with them to the office because, hey, wherever you are, I mean, your humanity is right there, and it should not be hidden.
Mhm. It shouldn't be, what I think about going into places, whether it's a play or you can't really do it at basketball games anymore, I don't think. I think you used to be able to, but you walk in and there was a coat check where you could check your coat, get the ticket, go to your seat, come back and get it. That is not how our humanity should be in the workplaces. I shouldn't have to check it at the door, go to my seat, do my work. When my work is done on the way out, before I leave, get my coat checked of humanity and go into my personal life. That is not how workplaces should be. So, in doing it with working with leaders, what I say is you have to, and this is why I say it all the time, Christopher, you have to sit with yourself. You have to have a true understanding of who you are, and if you are saying, these are my values, this is who I believe I am in my heart and in my mind, are those things then being demonstrated through your actions and through your words? Are you living those things? And I would say that leadership is essentially is unlearning, because leaders forever have been told certain things in which we have to uphold. You have to be strong. You have to not be vulnerable. You have to take the realm and you are in the lead instead of co-leading the many gifts and talents that each team brings and harnesses, and collectively powering up so that you could create something unimaginable. However, I can't ask my workforce that I'm leading to show up as human if I myself am showing up as a robot, emotionless. If I myself are not demonstrating and sharing with the people, I too am having problems struggling with my mental wellness. I too am having personal issues because I just lost somebody and I am struggling to come here every day to be productive. So if you can't be vulnerable with not only yourself and give yourself a self compassion to then show that and share that compassion with other people, it's going to be really hard for the people that you lead to then do the same thing. Leadership is no longer do as I say and not as I do. It is do as I do because I see you.
Okay, so leadership is
Mhm.
the modeling what is okay. It's okay to
Yes.
be human. It's okay to be vulnerable. It's okay to be uncertain.
Yeah.
Okay. And then if you model that for your team, then that gives them license to reciprocate with themselves.
Mhm.
Let you know when things are less than perfect.
And I would push people, even when people say I'm striving for perfect. I push people oftentimes when I'm working with them to tell me more about that, because aren't we inevitably imperfect? We are imperfect beings, which in a way makes us perfect. But striving for that perfection Your perfect might be very different than somebody else's on your team's perfect. So you're both going towards a goal. And then leadership is getting upset with, well, this is what I wanted. Well, this was my definition of perfect. So I thought that that's what you wanted because you said this should be perfect. But what is your definition of perfect?
So from the beginning, it sounds like there need to be clear objectives.
Yes.
And so a definition, or a definition of done. How do you know when it is done? Well, it meets these criteria.
Right.
Now, one of the things I come from a IT background,
Okay.
and IT gives you a multitude of ways to get the same thing done. So, for instance, in uh, a word processing package, well, to close the program, there's usually an X in the corner. All right,
Mhm.
fine, that's a close. It might be inelegant, but it still closes. There is a keyboard shortcut, maybe
Mhm.
uh, Control F and Control S to save, or Control X. One of those will get you out of there. And there's usually a menu that you can click on, exit. All of those things get the same thing done.
Right.
So, all right, what's the definition of done? Well, I tried clicking on X in the corner. It didn't work. I tried repeatedly. It did not work. Finally, I just tossed the laptop. That's someone who misunderstood what the objective was.
Right.
And that falls to the leader. It's like, all right, hey, here's the objective. I don't care how you get it done.
Mhm. But some leaders do. They
Okay.
want it done exactly their way. And I am pushing on people to say, I hear you. And at the same time, the people that you lead might have a way better way to do it than you ever even imagined because everybody's mind thinks very differently. And we have to let the people, these job descriptions that we're trying to squeeze people in, we're trying to have them gumby their way into these responsibilities. That's what we're doing.
Yeah.
Instead of asking, because I work with leaders to set these systems up, instead of just asking people, what are your gifts and talents? You could be missing something huge that one individual could be bringing to your team, but because you had them fit into this box, you never even bothered to ask them what's a passion, what's a talent, what is going to make you more efficient at your job. Can we move some of the things that you don't like to do to somebody else on the team who really loves that and that's their passion, to make the team be better and working more collaboratively to produce something that you never even thought you could produce before?
I like that. So leaders are listeners,
Yes, very much.
and the talents that your team has, the talents of the people that you are leading, are varied. And only by listening and being curious about them as individuals can you get the best out of them. Can you get the best out of the team?
Yes, and I would go back to, it goes to the vulnerable piece again, because then you have to be vulnerable and say, these are my talents and gifts. These are conversations that a lot of teams aren't having. These are my talents and gifts. These are pieces of things that I don't appreciate loving to do, that I have to do. But I know if somebody else, if that's a gift and talent for them, and if they wanted to take more leadership responsibility on and wanted to try out doing it, I would be happy to let you try it and build your skills too. At the end of the day, as a leader, I always looked at people. I don't want you to forever be here. This is not a purgatory sentence. I want to port, right? Seriously. I don't want you to stay there for, unless you want, if that's what you want, then fine. But forever, I want you to grow. I think that's the purpose of life. I do not want to be the same future today that I am tomorrow. I want to learn, I want to grow, and I want to nourish people. People are plants. I want to nourish you so you can grow and sprout into whatever you wanted to. And then you don't have to be here because you're leading more, and the ripple effect is lifelong.
Absolutely. All right. So I love that statement. It's not a purgatory sentence. I mean, could you imagine showing up to your new team? Welcome to purgatory. You will be here forever. Like who would sign up for that? Uh,
Wait, here, I have one for you. You can't get out of purgatory unless we give you the keys to do so. I mean, seriously, like,
and the keys will never be found.
that's what's happening in some of these organizations. It's like, oh help, I can't get up. Literally, I can't get up there. How do I even get up?
All right, you know what? We need to come up with um, an auditory sort of thing. Hey, we will translate that into an auditory engagement. Future, what's the leadership lesson today? It's not purgatory. You are here forever.
Right?
And when you phrase it that way, when you put it in such a relatable um, frame of reference, people, it's not. Leaders create leaders.
Right.
All right, that brings to mind an example. But see, here's the thing: that doesn't mean that you are forced out of doing something that you are engaged with.
Mm-hmm.
So, hey, if you really love this aspect of your job, and great, that's where
Right.
you want to be, fine.
Exactly.
That's not purgatory. That's not
No,
punishment.
that's not punishment if you want it. However, if you are a person like me who, right, I wasn't going to be happy staying in that job forever. I just wasn't. So if you are a person who wants to learn new things and grow and move up at a place, then what are we doing to pour into people to be able to do that? And I'm being very serious on this.
Exactly. It's all right. So, an example that comes to mind, um, I'm in Michigan, and recently we held our primary elections.
Mm,
During the election, I work as an electronic poll book.
okay.
I handle that. So that means I engage with just
Yeah.
about every voter that comes into the precinct. I look up their information, I give them a ballot, and I move them on their way.
Yeah.
I have been approached on a few occasions. You're really good at that. How about precinct captain? And I have declined it each and every time.
Because you didn't want it,
No,
which is fine. That's
exactly.
fine.
It, but there's more pay. It's like, yeah, but it's not electronic poll book.
Right.
I enjoy this. I'm good at this. I can help others be good at this. So the people I work with, because you can't have one person in that job all day.
Mhm.
No, you trade off and you trade, you know, shifts, but you're there supporting one another.
Right.
And I just want to make sure at the end of the day, the job gets done.
Correct.
So as a leader in that position, it's like, all right, let's go ahead and, oh, a problem. Fine. Here's how we're going to solve that.
Yep.
And here's a side benefit of just my demeanor and personality. This is me flustered, kind of. So being calm and having that conversation goes a lot further than, are you kidding me? How could you give this person a ballot that was upside down and in a different language? Come on. We're never going to balance. That doesn't work.
Okay, I'm gonna push on you. I'm gonna push on you a little bit. Okay.
Okay,
I'm
go
trying to
for
look
it.
for. I'm like, well, do I have a tissue? I thought I did. Okay.
All right.
So I am laughing because I'm thinking you're gonna have to tell me after I say this. Is that a reason why you named your business Calm Clear Communication?
You know, because of the copious quantities of coffee I consume, it was going to be frenetic energy. But I thought, it seems not to align with who I am.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Right. Now, here's the other thing I think. When I was thinking of, okay, Christopher's the CEO of Calm Clear Communications, I agree. In most situations, to be calm and clear in your communication style, whether that's auditory or written, is a best practice approach. I will also say at the same time, because two truths could be the truth at the same time, there's a lot of people who then get judged on their passion as aggression. So there's some conversations that I will not Gumby my way into being calm in a situation when public disrespect comes, and then you want me to publicly be calm when you publicly were disrespectful too.
And I completely, wholeheartedly agree. It's, yeah, I mean, being calm, uh, fine, that's the trait that is 90% of the time.
Correct.
But there is still that other 10%. I mean, but
Right.
we're human all the time.
Correct. Mm-hmm.
Now, one of the things in your background that it's like, wait a second, future is even more amazing than I thought.
Oh, let me hear this one.
Education, a
Oh,
teacher.
yeah.
So, it's like, go on. And okay, teachers.
Mm-hmm.
Teachers are always special individuals because they help other people move out of their area of comfort into something more expansive.
Mm-hmm.
They help others grow. And that's a key component of leadership,
Yes.
helping others grow.
Yes. I love education. I'm a lifelong learner, and I would tell other people to be too. Why not? That's what we're here to do. We're here to learn, for whether it's a book, a podcast, a live, a conversation. We're here to constantly learn and then help other people learn too. So, do you want to hear why I got into education, or what are you looking for?
Yes, please. Why did you get into education?
Okay. Whew. I don't think I've ever told this story out loud to anybody. Um, I mean, in private, I have a lot of friends, and majority of my friends, which I was laughing at, I was like, "Huh, that's interesting." Majority of my friends are actually not on social media at all. Like, you won't find them anywhere on Instagram or Twitter or here or Facebook. And I'm like, that's very interesting. So they have no idea anything about any of the stuff that I write, and they're not liking it because they're not on here. So they may know this story, but I don't think I've told anybody. It hasn't been one of my posts or anything in regards to here. So school, okay, kindergarten was great. I love my teacher, and I still remember her name. She's probably passed, so I'm sending positive vibes, and love to her today. First grade wasn't so great. And I think it's unconsciously, well, consciously, I'm going to say, a piece of why I got into education, because just to be very blatant, my first grade teacher was racist. And I grew up in an area where I was the only Black person, and not only the only Black person, but only person of global majority. So, like, the only minority. So, in the school that I went to, I was the only, I think, Black or brown or other minority in the whole school building in itself. So I failed first grade, and then I switched to go to a different school. And at that school, my next first grade teacher, who I kept in touch with for a really long time, Sister St. William was her name. She saw me completely, which is exactly what I want all leaders and workplaces to be able to do, of just to see full humanity, who each person is coming into their workplace. So that was a piece of the system that I didn't like, of a teacher not seeing me fully. So I went to school, college, one of the degrees, because I have 2 bachelor degrees. I was able to obtain those in 4 years. One of the degrees, one of the degrees I was supposed to be going for was education. And then when I got into the coursework, I said, I can't do this. I don't like it. So it wasn't what I had thought it was going to be. So I transferred to get a psychology degree, and I got out and I went to work as a behavioral level clinician. And when I was working, one of the states, I've lived in 3 different states, but the state that I grew up in and the culture that I say I embody is East Coast. And on the East Coast, the students who had a DSM-V diagnosis, so attention deficit disorder, or on the autism spectrum, or obsessive compulsive disorder, any of the different categories, you could get hours with a behavior specialist, anywhere between 5 to 35 hours at school and in home. And I worked with children who were on the autism spectrum, and I did applied behavior analysis and the PEC system. And I heard many of their first words ever that they uttered. So that was a blessing in itself. And when I was going into the school buildings with them, my heart hurt actually because of how inhumanely they were being treated and the injustices that were taking place in the school building to the children that had other abilities. And I said, this isn't right. So I went to my company and I said, what else could I do? And they basically said, well, you have to go back for your master's if you want to even, be able to get to that point. I had moved up to a bachelor level clinician's manager at that point, but I couldn't move up any higher. So I said, okay, I'm going to go back. So I went back for my master's in special ed because I said, I need to create the classrooms that the kids deserve, because this is the inequities and the injustices are riddled. So when people are like, you just got into justice or equity, no, I've been in it for decades. And I literally went back to school to create systems that were more equitable on purpose. That was my life's mission for many years. So I went and I taught, and I co-taught for high school, all different subjects areas. So what do you want? I've done math, I've done science, I've done social studies, I've done English, I've done psychology, history, all of them. And I started to move up and I started to be asked. Other people saw in me what we have that. I'm sure that's happened to you too, Christopher. We have people who see stuff in us that we can't even see in ourselves. So then I had the leaders coming to me and saying, future, do you want to take this leadership role on? Do you want to take this leadership role on? And I've been able to co-lead or lead many different beautiful things that even our school, one of the things that I co-led, that I was asked to co-lead, we were the first high school recognized, and we were recognized at a state and a national level. And because of that, then I started speaking. So I've been speaking at a national level since 2017, 2018, because of the work and the systems that we put in place at the school that I worked. And then I kept moving up to most recently sitting at the statewide level and being in charge of 6 statewide coaches, leading 6 statewide coaches for the state that I live in.
Very impressive.
Thank you.
And lots of lessons in there.
Mm-hmm.
So one, the leader should see the whole person as opposed to what they think the job looks like.
Mm-hmm.
So, you said your first grade teacher failed you, was racist, did not see all of you.
Yeah.
And you did not Gumby yourself into what they wanted.
Mm-hmm.
So a leader should see the whole person. And it's like, well, I've thought about this role, and the ideal person for this role is this theoretical person I've come up with in my head, Chad.
Mm-hmm.
And Chad is, played rugby, played soccer, and is 6'4". Okay, that's an image, but that is not necessarily everyone that you're going to see.
Mm-hmm.
So see the person in front of you,
Mm-hmm.
and see how they can get the job done.
I think another leadership lesson from this is see something, say something.
Yeah.
And if you see a problem, bring a solution.
Absolutely. And all right. But as a leader,
Mm-hmm.
how do you get your team to do that? I mean, they may not always have a solution, but you still want them to bring forth the problem.
Mm-hmm. I think you have to create a normalcy around it. So I know with the teams that I try to often lead in a way that we are looking at ourselves, being self-aware of what we're doing or not doing, but also celebrating along the way. And I call it glows and grows. You have to celebrate the glow areas, but we also know at the same time, even though we might have many glows, we have to grow. So I think it is looking at and putting it out there that it becomes a normal part of the team's functioning to talk about, okay, what do we do really well? And what areas are not going as well as we had expected, or because I'm about planning ahead, strategic planning for far out. What are we
Mhm.
possibly foreseeing for the future or in the upcoming weeks, the upcoming months, or next year that might be a problem? So we can, I'm all about being proactive and preventative so that we can put those in place so that we're not hitting a big pothole or a, a big stop because we didn't plan for the future.
That's good. That's good. And all right. Now you've mentioned gumbing yourself into a position, and that reminds me of a quote from Brene Brown
Mm,
about fitting in versus belonging.
yes.
And so the quote, fitting in is about assessing a situation and becoming who you need to be accepted.
Mhm,
Belonging, on the other hand, doesn't require us to change who we are. It requires us to be who we are.
mhm,
And yeah, that's not gumbing yourself into folding yourself into uncomfortable, unacceptable positions just to fit in.
mhm.
So,
It's tiring. That lifestyle is exhausting to one's being, and I think, well, I not even that I think I know that a lot of people are now struggling with two things: compassion fatigue or resilience fatigue, because people are exhausted and the exhaustion in which they are holding is very different from the end of 2020 to the end of 2021 to the beginning of 2022. Because 2.5 years ago, I think well, I shouldn't say every, I don't want to categorize every, a lot of people probably thought, oh, we'd be through this pandemic in like a year. And it keeps going. It's like the Energizer Bunny. It keeps going.
it
And
does.
it's exhausting to keep going, not knowing essentially, and having to tap into your resiliency. And at the same time, knowing there's lots of us who have been proactive and preventative with filling our piggy bank up with resilience. And some people have had to take a lot more um, out. I've had to take out a lot more of that piggy bank than other people. And I think as leaders, that is something that's a piece of what we go through when we work with teams and organizations, because everybody is not the same. This pandemic has not been equalized, and it's inequitable. And to ask somebody or everybody on the team to be able to perform at the same level on any given day, depending on what's happening, that needs to be looked at, and a humanness needs to be brought to it.
Absolutely. And all right, the prior to the pandemic,
Mhm.
I think most of us compartmentalized ourselves.
Yes.
Like, well, here is my work self. And
Mhm.
that is, these are all the things that you are required to know about me for my job. And everything else is over there. And now everything is intertwined. Uh, and being inauthentic is, as you said, exhausting.
Mhm.
Showing up as who you are. I mean, all right, we've been on a ton of Zoom calls, and everyone's environment is completely different.
Mhm.
You might have, I don't know, an animal walk right in front of the camera because that's what they're going to do. But people right now, they don't apologize for it anymore. Oh, is that so and so? You know, it's a beautiful thing.
They're saying hi. Oh, there's Cody again. Well, hey, Cody.
Wait, before we go on, how is Cody?
Right? And I'll welcome that. Seriously, I
Exactly.
welcome that.
Exactly, because it's more of who we are as people, as humans, as
Right.
opposed to the imperfectly projected, inauthentic image that was portrayed.
Right.
This is my work self. Well, gee, I had no idea you had an interest in. Wait, you have 4 cats? Huh.
And a
It's
dog I hear in the background.
is that an actual parrot on your shoulder? Um, all those things. Uh,
Oh.
you know, spouses walking through the shot, you know, kids walking through the shot, kids, and especially if they are the smaller variety, just, you know, and their favorite word at a certain age is whatever they call you. Mom, 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 mom.
Mommy, mommy. It just gets louder. No calmness. There's no calm
No.
in their communication if they want something. My son will often come to the side. It's like and pop his head in. Like, hold on. I'm
And
like, what are you doing?
and that is the part of being human and authentic and in the moment, you know. And see, again, see this for the audience. What you're hearing is part of the magic of Future. That laughter, that engagement, that joy that she brings and shares effortlessly.
Okay, here's the thing. I feel like people are walking around putting a lot of effort into like being mad. You know how much energy that consumes? It's just so much easier. And I laugh at myself. I laugh at life, but some of us take ourselves too seriously. Like it's not.
Hey, no one gets out alive.
And you're in purgatory forever, so there's no laughing here. I mean, seriously.
Welcome to your next job. It's purgatory. There's no escape, no release, no exit.
Right? Why would you not laugh? It's so good. It's so good for your spirit. It's good for your soul. It's good for your well-being. Literally.
Now, all right. There are shenanigans going on.
Oh boy, what am I gonna ask him? I'm not ready for anything. I don't have any pets, so you're not gonna see anything walking, barking, talking in the background here.
Yeah, I don't have any pets either, and no. So, you
Ah.
know, if you are looking for more Cody, Cody's podcast is coming up at 2 o'clock this afternoon, where Cody discusses the latest in cat culture.
Oh my god. Oh. Oh. We have to find a sponsor. We have to find a sponsor. Cat
Oh,
sponsor
absolutely.
for the
Absolutely.
show.
We have to find sponsors for all the aspects. The translation of corporate into culture. So the your job is not purgatory. That's we could do that. We could do that all day. Wait, what's the policy? We'll read the policy and translate that into, what is, yeah. I show up
Oh.
for that
Oh, translations. We could do that.
all day. I mean,
All
that
day.
is, the translation is what we did in the before times once we got home. You are
Mhm.
not going to believe what they did at the office today. And see, now it is in real time. Wait, what? So yeah, being authentic, but yet appropriate all the time.
Mhm, mhm. And calm. She can't forget calm.
Cannot forget calm. But we have questions about purgatory. Uh,
Okay, here's what I'm gonna say, Gabe. Sometimes the insurance benefits aren't worth having to suffer through purgatory. There's some insurance benefits, and I don't care how good the insurance benefits are, it's not even worth it. I don't know. What do you think, Christopher?
oh, I agree. And the insurance is its own funny entity.
Mhm.
So, we could have a whole nother discussion about uh, insurance.
Oh, I have somebody you could bring on to talk about insurance.
Let's do that. So who, all right, if you want to call them out now, fine. We will put their name in the comments and then I will connect with them
Okay, hold on.
uh-oh.
I want to.
See, this is one of the things I love about doing a live with
Right?
exactly because, in addition to shenanigans, because shenanigans are always going to happen, uh, the serendipity of, hey, you should talk to so and so.
Okay. It's Daryl Perry, insurance expert, and he's the bow tie superhero.
I love that title. And I will admit, a bow tie is something I have not successfully been able to tie yet.
Well,
There's
you have
always
to
hope,
talk to
though.
him. You have to talk to him. See, you have lots of stuff to talk to him about. I'll totally put you two into contact with each other.
Absolutely. I thank you for that. Now, so part of what we always do on Calm, Clear Conversations, in addition to, discussions about leadership and authenticity and how to be human
Mm.
as you go through, because, you got to be human anyway. Books and podcasts and music and media. So what is a book? What's the last book that you read that you would recommend?
Oh my God. I've read so many. I've read more books in the last 3 or 4 months than I think I've read in a year. So two, I'm gonna do two that I just because I'm gonna shout these people out and I'm gonna tell you a why I'm shouting them out. Okay.
Okay.
Plantation Theory by John Graham Jr. And he's running a special right now. If you go to his website, he will give a hard copy instead of the paperback, which I'm actually kind of sad because I don't even have a hard copy signed book. So he's running a great promotional. Okay. So that's one.
Okay.
Two, Jackie Abrams, Hush Money. And she has two parts out to it. Now here's the awesomeness about hers. She is running a special. I think the book is you could get it for $7 or less. And basically it's a promotional to fund what happened in Buffalo. Because one of the people that she's connected to and one of the people that Dan Roth is connected to is a child of one of the people who were killed.
Okay.
So she and Dan is actually going to match, I think, up to 50 books that are bought of Jackie's Hush Money. But it's all basically going on to support and be given to some of the residents in Buffalo.
Wonderful. And you were just on a program with Jackie and Dan.
Mm-hmm. Jackie, Dan, and John, all of us
John,
were.
yes.
So those two books are the two most recent books I read.
And all right. The title of John's book again?
Plantation Theory.
I'm looking these up in real time so that I can make sure that I have all the information. And all right, so then this begs another question.
Yeah.
When is your book coming out?
You know, here's what's funny about this. Literally, we were all talking on this live with Dan, Jackie, myself, and John, and the same question came up. When when are you doing it? And I can't tell you how many people in the last like year have asked Future, when are you writing a book? When are you writing a book? When are you writing a book? Um, I I can't say. I don't know if I would ever do that.
See, all right, it's confession time.
Oh yes.
This, you know, the amount of joy that you just, it's like, wait, what are we going to hear now? Okay. This has all been an elaborate intervention to get you to write a book. Between the episode that you did the other day and this one, we all sat around and said, you know, how are we going to get Future to write a book?
I don't know. I don't know. I do a lot of writing, as everybody can see right from my book. I can just take my post and put it into a book.
There you go. You were 90% there. You need a cover and the blurb on the back. You're there.
I do appreciate writing. I also believe for myself, I have to have this space to do it. And I don't know if at night, really late when the kids are going to bed, that the few moments of time I get to be calm and have a clear mind so I could communicate to the world. I don't know if I could get it. I would probably need to say I am going away for a brief period of time to just even get an outline or something that I think
Okay.
would be impactful for legacies to come.
But see, because the question keeps coming up,
Mhm.
you know, that means there is what's the universe trying to tell you there,
I
Future?
know. I'm a firm believer in that too. I really am. I try to always tap into my intuition, and it has, yes, the universe keeps saying the same thing in regards to this over and over, and the reality says I have to find the time to do it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Now, as we draw to a close, I would encourage everyone, if you are not already following Future
Mm.
on, where would you like people to follow? LinkedIn?
LinkedIn, and I'm on Instagram. I'll take more followers on Instagram. I don't have a lot. I don't have a lot, but I just got on both of them. I literally just got on social media in
Okay.
2020.
And hey, you know, if you follow Future, you'll be getting all the insights her friends that are not on social media are not getting. This is the good stuff. So follow Future. Future Cain, it is always a delight to have a conversation with you, to hold space, to enjoy laughter and connect and be present.
Mhm. I love our conversations. They are
I do
delightful.
too.
They're
They
delightful.
are. And see, all right, all right. Here's another confession, and we were talking about this before we pressed the go live button.
Mhm.
When we did connect, you responded back with a voice message and encouraged me to do the same. And all right, I I use my voice in a variety of ways, and it was one of those. Okay, I'll do this. But you know, it is the most fun way of uh, leaving a message because you can convey so much
Mhm.
with voice. And when I get a voice message from Future, it is no different than having a conversation with Future in terms of the energy level. It's like, you know, if it's an Eeyore sort of day, it's just a day. And then there's this message from Future is no longer just a day. It's like, okay, I have to raise my energy level just so I can respond appropriately because, you know,
Hey, I've had some of my Eeyore days too, right?
wait, you?
I've had some Eeyore days too.
We all do. It's part of being human. It is, and it, the humanness is what keeps us connected.
Yep. Yep.
The inauthenticness is what disconnects us. It's
Yeah.
what drains our energy and resources. So be
Yeah.
authentic, laugh, be present. That's the way to be.
I agree.
So, future Cain, thank you so much. I have enjoyed our conversation tremendously, and I will be making contact with the individual you suggested. And for the right sponsor, we are happily going to be here to translate your policy into comedy gold. Thank you,
Oh,
future.
thank you for having me. Thank you.
Interested in learning more about any of the items that you've seen in today's session? Leave a comment below. Interested in being a guest? Leave a comment below. I help event planners and organizers produce virtual events. Learn how I can support your virtual event by connecting or leaving a comment. Thanks for watching.